Imagine you're at work and every time you open your mouth, your colleague rolls their eyes. Now, once or twice, yeah, you can ignore it. When it happens over and over and over and over again, it is humiliating, it is irritating, and it's belittling. But that's exactly what happened to Maureen Harrison, a dental nurse in Scotland. She faced repeated eye rolling from a colleague. She told her managers did nothing, and she eventually resigned. The tribunal ruled that this actually was bullying and awarded her over £25,000 in compensation. Now, this actually isn't the only case. In another tribunal, a manager's constant sighing and the exaggerated exhalations were ruled discriminatory. And that's because when behaviour like this is persistent and it's targeted, it creates a hostile work environment. Now, according to ACAS, the definition of bullying is, and I quote, offensive, intimidated, malicious, or insulting behaviour, an abuse or misuse of power through the means that undermine, humiliate, denigrate, or injure the recipient. So, eye rolling and sighing might seem small, but repeated over time, it can clearly fit this definition. However, there's something that we really need to actually consider, and that is the fact that looks are subjective. So a raised eyebrow or folded arm might be interpreted in very different ways, depending on the gender, depending on the culture, depending on the bias. In fact, research from the University of Richmond found that Black women's faces are disproportionately perceived as angry, even when it's a neutral face. And that matters because for us, Black women, our facial expressions are always policed a lot more harshly than anybody else. A neutral look, for example, might be read as an attitude. A serious look might be labelled as hostile. And if we even dare show frustration, it can feed into that damaging, angry Black woman stereotype that we all know about. And this doesn't just affect perception, it can actually impact an entire career. We might then start to feel pressure to over smile or to soften our tone and constantly manage how we look just to avoid being misjudged. That emotional labour, our colleagues don't feel that. So what could you do if you've been targeted by non-verbal behaviour like eye rolling or sighing? Well, I would say focus on the patterns because not always one-offs can be a problem. Think about the context. Is it directed at you or is this the general behaviour of that particular person? If it's you are the one, and also if you people looking at your behaviour, don't over-police yourself. Professionalism matters. You shouldn't have to feel forced to fake cheerfulness or fake the funk, as I like to say. And if any of these issues are affecting you, address it early and respectfully if you feel safe to do so. Sometimes people don't realise the impact, and sometimes people don't realise how it feels to you. If it continues, keep a record and escalate this to your manager or to HR. Documentation strengthens your case. And for employees, don't dismiss the behaviours as minor. Train managers to spot subtle bullying and to understand how bias shapes interpretation. Because at the end of the day, it's not always the words that hurt, it can be also the looks. They used to say, if looks can kill. So just to leave you with this, do you think eye rolling should count as workplace bullying, or does that risk going too far? Let me know in the comments. Once again, I'm a resourceful human, HR with heart.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Oh, there's a side note. I'm not going to tell you about the magic of this happening, but as you can see, I've had some lighting problems. So I'm creating content. I'm creating content on a budget. A budget. Actually, I'm creating content with free stuff. But if you want to support, please do go onto the YouTube webpage. If you want to get your CV looked at, if you want to get some advice, you can always do so. Show your support. This magic does not happen so easily. I do not have a production team yet, hopefully. But anyway, thanks, and I'll speak to you guys soon.